Tell you one thing I've noticed during COVID is the corporations are really ramping up their earnest advertising. You know, you're getting a lot of hey, we know it's fucking tough out there. It's tough, isn't it? But we're here. We're still here, and we care. Suncorp, because
Yeah,
it's fucking, you know.
yeah. It's. I've never heard ads with a more compassionate tone,
Mm,
and they even incorporate like Zoom windows and stuff into the ad.
yeah,
It's like, with catching up with dad or having a coffee with your mate, and it's got like the Zoom windows.
yeah,
Yeah, people, they have to pretend that that's like that's fun to do that, like to cook together over a Zoom or whatever.
yeah. But in reality, it's really disjointed. There's no the internet connection. What's going on with why haven't we mastered internet yet?
Well, that's the thing, because like I feel like society's like, oh, they're like, we're going online, everything's online now, but it's
Right.
still shacks, and like it's still like I'm watching like MasterChef or something, and it like freezes and shit like on the TV,
Yeah.
and I don't know if, because people talk about like they're going to get their consciousness uploaded to the technological singularity. You
Mm,
know that, like you'll be
yeah.
uploaded to the internet, but
Yeah.
you'd hope the Wi-Fi connection was pretty good.
Yeah. When you're uploading your consciousness, yeah, you want to make sure it doesn't drop out.
You don't want dial-up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You don't want to
like you
fax in your consciousness.
No, like it's pretty precious, your consciousness. Like
Mm,
you don't want it to be like staggering or whatever, like buffering.
that's right. Yeah. I guess that's what kind of doing ketamine is like. You're buffering your consciousness. Your consciousness is in a state of buffering.
Well, didn't you say that you did ketamine and then had insomnia?
Yeah, yeah. I'm one of the few people that has such an anxious mind that I can take a horse tranquilizer and still not sleep.
That to me boggles the mind. To a thing that like can bring an animal of that size to its knees, so that it doesn't feel when it's getting slaughtered.
Well, it
You
makes you think
think
that
that you're up or not.
I have an elephant size anxiety, I guess. And so a bit of horse tranquilizer is just like a bit of fun to my anxiety. You'll need an elephant gun. Um,
Right, the elephant dart. Put you just.
the elephant dart.
Hmm.
Um, but I do secretly, because it's funny with ads because in a way we all see through it now. Like when I see, an ad go, it's tough out there. It's fucking, but family, you know, when I see those kind of ads, your family and your dad gives you a call. Is there anything more important? Insurance company, Hey, Amy,
Yeah,
we're fucking, we care about your family almost as much as our profit margins and
yeah,
shareholders.
totally. I watched sometimes when I was watching those Amy ads, I'd be like, "Oh, Amy is in charge," like
Oh,
that
the
lady that
woman.
takes the. I thought she was like she actually cared about you and stuff. Like you'd be like, "Yeah, I got rear-ended by like this truck, and like the guy's yelling at me," and she's like, "It's okay, it's okay. I'm sending people out. Like we're gonna help you." You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
comforting, like it's free almost.
Yeah, it's not
They care so much.
it's not. Amy just isn't a personable friend that you call up. You're like, "Hey Amy, it's me." They're like, "Yeah, can I help you?" Or they're not,
No, no, she's
there's
an out of
only
work act.
yeah, she's an out of work actress.
No
Who
one in
who
the ads can afford the thing they're advertising. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I've seen comedians in ads where I'm like, he doesn't have a house. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't have friends. He doesn't have friends. Doesn't go to the pub and pretend to converse like a human being. This is
yeah,
unrealistic.
yeah, totally. It's like he doesn't have a TV.
What's
Like he
that
wouldn't be.
open micer doing out, pretending like he can converse socially with regular people as opposed to being a neurotic, anxious, narcissistic mess in the corner of a room? Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, there
he's a
is.
depressed joker.
What's that?
He's a depressed joker.
He's a
figure.
depressed Joker. That's right. A depressed Joker. Because the Joker seems quite happy, doesn't he? Like, as in he's sort of enjoying his terror.
Yes, I think he learns to enjoy it. Mm.
So there is one ad that I still there's for some reason, you know, when there's one type of ad that I still gives me warmth, and that's mass produced family traditional Italian pasta sauce ads. You know, the ones like there's a lot of them, the ones where it's like sun setting and there's like a family kitchen and there's the old, you know, we make the pasta sauce, we make ourselves the old way.
Yes.
We make it, you know, those ones.
Yes.
I trust that more over the voiceover, Aussie voiceover, white guy voice. You know, hey, we know it's hard out there. I trust we make it the old way. We pick the tomato from the sun and we do it the way Giuseppe did it when he was a kid. The same way for your family. Domio. You know? Because
It makes you tear up
it makes you what?
sometimes. It can make you emotional.
Yeah.
Like when they're talking about the tomatoes and so like we cut the tomatoes for everybody. We make sure everybody have a bit of dinner for tonight. And like you start feeling like the vibe of it all.
Yeah, a white guy can't do that with a voiceover, but the Italian guy going, the butter, we still do it by hand. And you're like, oh, I feel like I'm going to walk out of the farmhouse and Giuseppe's going to be there, come in there and help me churn the butter by hand. Then we'll have a home-cooked meal for you. Sienna butter, the old way.
Yeah, they can get some of the voices they get are just so like they're just like very new, like have a timbre to them. Like we make a butter for people to. It is a butter that has been thousands of years. That is a butter for everybody. For for your babies. They like it butter, you know. And like you start getting into it, and like there's a guy like the graphics and it's like the guy with the moustache and it twirls and.
I would pay money for the Italian woman from the ad to hold me. You know, the old no-no, not in a sexual way or anything, just
yeah,
you know, so you could just fucking have that real motherly warmth, you know, just like that kind of, I can't describe it.
Embrace.
Yeah, a transcendental embrace where you're just going, God, why the fuck is life so hard? The basil, we take the old way, we put it in with the tomato. It's a different method because it's our family method. Oh, thank God. And she's just patting your head, you know? Thank you. You're in our family now. I feel like that could really bring cultures together, you know, like that voice. Stop trying to, you know, all the ads now are trying to get on board with identity politics because it's popular. You know, like ANZ's like, we care about transgender people now because it's popular.
Yeah.
You know? It's not trusting to me. I want to see an ad. I want to see, you know, we make the olive oil the old way. We press the olives by hand for the Muslims.
Yeah.
You know? And I'll be like, I guarantee you hate crimes will go down. We make it by hand in the sunlight with the fresh air for the homosexual.
We make it for a homosexual, for Muhammad. We make it for the people. Everybody like it. There's a big pause, and then, but yeah,
wouldn't want to be uploading your consciousness on this fucking connection.
Oh, because it's unstable. Your internet connection is unstable.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so frustrating. Yeah, that's right. I trust that voice. That's the key, I think, that they need to use more of that, you know. Don't yell at the Muslim. We make a pasta sauce too, the old way. You know, that kind of ad. Obviously, some groups will be excluded.
Do you think they could do banking ads in that voice? Like, is a bank. We give you the money. We do the Bitcoin. We do all the different currencies. We do euro.
You make a deposit. You take a withdrawal, just like Giuseppe did. No, it's not. It hasn't got the same. I think they need to they got to shoehorn in. some people will be excluded. Like there should be some, some people groups will be excluded. Obviously, we make the sauce the old way. No pedophile. No pedophile in Giuseppe's kitchen. Domio. Like that. Like there'll be some groups excluded, obviously.
What, in the ad? So it'll be everyone.
They're like, this is for everyone, but not the pedophile. We make the sauce the old way. We stir it. We ground the pepper by hand. No pedophiles. Giuseppe.
That's why Mario, he's on. He doesn't have any.
There were some allegations about Giuseppe. It was a different time. He was Roman Catholic. It was institutionalized at a different time. But no more new pedophiles.
His hands need the pastor in a way that the wicked like a bene. Bene. Good hands for the pastor.
So you don't touch the kids. Domio. That could be one ad. Don't touch the kids. Domio.
So they have ethical messaging as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Make the pasta sauce fresh for the Muslim. Maybe not that aggressive. For the fucking Muslim. Hey, fuck you. Eat the fucking pasta.
Is it bene? They just have a guy saying stuff like, "Is it bene? I like it." Yeah, but I think of like ANZ when they have like the Mardi Gras flotilla or whatever.
Right, of course.
Like they'll have the ATM with like, it'll have like a rainbow on it or whatever.
Yeah.
At Mardi Gras, like I just think like it makes you think like for a second you're like, oh, the CEO is like, yes, this issue is very important to me, even though it's going to reduce our profits. My nephew's gay, and I think that I'm going to push ahead like out of bravery, and like we're going to lose money over this, but I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do.
Right, but it's not that at all.
No. It's an Excel spreadsheet and they just put it in and it comes out with more money if you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. When like homosexual rights and trans rights and LGBTIQ, all the whole group of rights were at the forefront, decades ago, they weren't like getting behind it then because it wouldn't have worked out on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, like that's why you can't give them any credit, because if beheadings were big, they would sponsor them.
Totally, if it was profitable.
Like the guillotine would just have like ANZ on it.
Yeah, but not the Italian ads. They'll be like, don't cut off their fucking head. The pasta sauce is fresh. Or unless Giuseppe has, dementia and he's like, hey, fuck, the bats. Where am I? How come? What do you do
They
with
say
the
that
sauces in the Mary? I poured it on Mary.
She's stupido. I tell you, the people say the virus jumped from a paladin, but we think it come from a calzone, jump out. A lot of Italians are sick. Not good. No, they think that. Have you heard that it may have jumped from a calzone, or like it was in the Italian sewage supply in November?
What? Outrageous. I never heard such a thing.
Not the supply, but the they don't supply.
The sewage supply is low.
Yeah, I need more sewage.
Cancel culture's taken a turn anyway, because as we were talking about, Noam Chomsky, Margaret Atwood, J.K. Rowling, and 150 writers and authors have signed a letter calling out cancel culture and political correctness as stifling in our democracy and ruining discussions and cutting out risky and interesting debate because it means that people might lose their jobs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think like once Noam Chomsky is saying to you on the left that you're being too left, you have to listen. Noam Chomsky's the left. I would argue Noam Chomsky's the most left person on the planet.
Well, yes, he's a what they call a anarcho-syndicalist.
Yes.
That's like that. That's so left. An anarcho-syndicalist is so left on the political spectrum. They're next to Hitler. but like on the up. Do you know what I mean? It's like the world.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you'll be like you're as far away but as close to, like, because he's Chomsky is an anarchist,
Yeah. He
which is
believes in.
funny because he dresses quite like proper, like he's
He's.
quite straight edge.
Yeah. You don't really picture him as your everyday rebel.
Yeah,
Noam
because when I think
Chomsky.
anarchist, I think of like mohawk,
Yeah.
you know, neck tattoo, like
No.
fucking crow.
He's an academic who works at a university and wears
He says
sweaters.
he says stuff like, yeah,
He says stuff like, "It's there's the pages of evidence. It's irrefutable. The American
really
imperialist actions in the Middle East are well documented." He always says that, well documented. It's well documented, the American influence
love
in the Middle East.
documents. Like, how many anarchists do you know that have archives
Yeah,
of footage? No, like they're like, oh, I've got documents. Like, oh.
I've got documents here. No,
The
I
guy
think
wakes
of.
up at 8 a.m. every day, writes for 4 hours, gives lectures. Like, he's probably got the most regimented life in the world, but he's like, anarchy, we must. Anarchy, dark side.
Yeah, once a
Yeah,
guy like that's kind of going, hey, stop being, you're too politically correct. I think that's it. We've reached a high
yeah.
watermark.
I remember when I went to the Festival of Dangerous Ideas, I saw Jermaine Greer do a speech.
Mm.
And like the two hosts that were talking to her were like trying to cancel her, kind of thing. And like, but it like every talk at the Festival of Dangerous Ideas is like the most safe talk ever. Do you know what I mean? Like, then none
Right.
of them are like, whoa. Like, you look at the people that go to the Festival of Dangerous Ideas, it's just a sea of scarves and like Shiraz and like just these culture vultures, just like, oh, we're en route to another event. You know, they've got that giddy bourgeois energy.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like the bold glasses and they're all just like and smiling. And then Jermaine Greer just said a bunch of crazy shit. And everyone was like, oh no. Like it was just, there was all this like, like that kind of noise.
It's
And it was
crazy
just,
that
it was delicious.
they tried to cancel her. Like it's at the Festival of Dangerous Ideas, and she's like, I've got a few. They're pretty dangerous though. Whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, you should be able to get up and go, I think Hitler was right. Like you should be allowed to have that speech at the Dangerous Ideas Festival.
But no, yeah, there's like, if it was a real dangerous ideas, it would be someone going, yes, coronavirus is caused by 5G, and like just
Right.
legitimately have a slideshow. He'd be like, yes, it's in the waves and it was started by the Jews. That's why they wear a yarmulke, because the waves don't go into the brain, and so it protects the protective mechanism.
Oh
You
shit.
know, like there would be crazy like theories that were wrong, because that's really
But
dangerous.
that's stupid more than it is dangerous. I meant like if, like I said, like if someone was pro-Nazism or pro-Stalinism or something fucking horrible, in theory, I'm saying they should be allowed to speak at that festival, even though they're wrong. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, then the festival would be honoring its namesake.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think
actually, it's this. Yeah,
I think I pretty
same.
much fundamentally completely disagree with cancel culture in the sense that it's better to educate and you know, have the media and literature out there that may be controversial. Better to educate and understand it than it is to actually remove it. Would you say that's a fair?
Yeah. It sucks when you can't like what you know. There's something that you like you can't watch or whatever because like it's impossible to access it. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's a
mean?
dangerous way of heading. I
And
mean,
it's wicked annoying as well.
you better hope that aliens don't
You know,
ever arrive, because if aliens arrive, we're gonna have to get rid of all our fucking movies. Because yeah, I don't think none of them depict aliens in a nice light.
the chance that our alien movies depict aliens correctly is quite low.
Yeah, I don't think the aliens are going to arrive peacefully and be like, "Yay, let's work together." What the fuck is this Independence Day?
Yeah, you think that we want to do this stuff? It's
Yeah,
really rude.
really
Here.
offensive. Really offensive. E.T. will be basically like a minstrel movie to
Yeah.
aliens.
Well, yeah. That I mean, E.T. was an offensive caricature of an alien.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll probably come down. They'll probably look $1,000,000. They'll
Who
be more
knows?
advanced.
They'll probably be
Maybe
beautiful.
we won't have the aesthetic capability to realize how beautiful they are. Do you know what I mean? Because we're just so measly. It'd be like an ant thinking like Pamela Anderson was good looking or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they think like a wasp looks good or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, you're saying a wasp can't appreciate Miranda Kerr? It
yes,
couldn't
like a
possibly.
wasp.
It's seen 8 of her in a black and white, whatever the
A
bullshit is,
pixel, like zoom
hexagonic.
screen,
Yeah.
hexagonal prisms,
What
and
if
it was.
aliens come down and go, you guys as humans aren't appreciating Miranda Kerr? She's actually more beautiful than you even know.
And you've just been, you know, having a go at her in the media, and
Yeah.
it's
Well, to
not
be
on.
fair, from her beauty, she is a multimillionaire just from standing around looking beautiful. But they'd be like, she's even more beautiful than you can imagine.
And we are going to punish you for not realizing this.
Yeah. And then they punish the whole earth for not being more in awe of Miranda Kerr.
That'd be very specific, like a very specific grievance for them to have, like of everything. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
mind-bogglingly specific. But yeah, I think. Do you know what I mean? It's like that movie Arrivals. I think that was a good
Mm.
depiction of aliens when they came and they were like these big weird things. Like
Mm.
they were more like they'd been uploaded to the internet kind of vibe.
Had they been uploaded to the internet? I thought they were flying octopuses. Was my kind of understanding.
Yeah, I think I was microdosing that time I saw
No,
it.
we
But yeah,
watched it together. We were stoned.
yeah, yeah,
You were sitting next to me.
yeah. So yeah, there was.
They hadn't been uploaded to the internet. They were like octopus-like creatures that were trying to communicate. Remember?
Yeah, they were,
But they were depicted as intelligent and peaceful. That's what you're trying to say.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, on their planet, they might be really quite gorgeous.
Oh, the octopus creatures that fly
Yeah, like,
around.
and then, but we just are so dumb, we don't even understand that.
Yeah, like the octopus could be the equivalent of Miranda Kerr.
Yeah,
Like the
and
octopus equivalent. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
But we can't
and
comprehend it because we're too fucking stupid.
we're too dumb. So, like, we need, like, Stephen Hawking's kind of gets it. He's like,
Well,
it's
it'd give you a lot of
pretty,
confidence in the alien world because you wouldn't realize how hot the octopus creatures are. So you'll just be like, hey, what's up? Like, you're kind of weird looking.
yeah,
Like, you'd be negging. You'd be negging off the
yeah,
bat.
just because you didn't care, you didn't
Exactly.
know.
Everyone be like, are you where you're talking to Zarak 3? She's the most beautiful creature in the universe. Like, I don't give a fuck.
And you walk in here and say that her shoes ain't nothing.
Yeah, you're just sitting next to her and everyone's like, oh my God, just sat down next to XR328. Most beautiful creature in the universe. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, yeah, I don't care.
We,
I'm not
we,
even
we
that
had
into octopuses.
we did a pulse reading on him. He felt his pulse did not change. He is
The ultimate
doesn't.
pickup artist. The
Yeah,
ultimate
in the
pickup
alien
artist.
um
Remember when
yeah.
pickup artistry was big in the 90s? And
Oh,
they would actually like train guys how to pick up women, but it was a crazily close to just sexual assault.
well, what's funny is when I worked as a glassy, I saw like a lot of like people doing magic tricks and stuff like maybe 15 years ago. Like just there was like a guy like setting cocktails on fire and was wearing like a boat. What's that hat? A fedora.
Oh.
And like, but there was like all these
The
wizards and
attire of
stuff.
a rapist. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a different time. It was
something about magic and lighting a thing on fire. You know what I mean? It's all about like that's and someone disappears and now there's an investigation. You know, it's
Now there's an investigation.
and yeah, it was
Yeah.
like they had bowler hats and just there was a weird uniform.
Mm. Yeah, it was about peacocking, they called it.
And a
Peacocking,
guy,
so that drawing attention to yourself.
I saw a guy doing a pickup artist at Centrelink
Yeah.
stuff. He was like, "Yeah, yeah. How about after this we go to the parking lot and split a can of tuna, you and me, both out of work." Yeah, we're both affected by coronavirus. You know, what were
Yeah.
you doing?
Different different socioeconomic groups pick up different ways, don't they?
There's different tactics. You can light it. You can light a mahasi. What's that drink called? Yeah,
Mojito.
yeah. You can set a mat. You can have cards,
Mm.
do card tricks and stuff.
Mm.
But the
Or you
card
can
tricks,
drink a goon
card,
bag in a dilapidated Datsun.
yeah, and go, "Where's your goon, idiot?" But yeah, there's you can.
You're trying to neg. Where's your fucking goon bag, cunt? Trying to put in a negative.
Well,
To
I
make
actually
it
neg. I neg men. That's what I do.
right.
I neg my friends. I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, your shirt's got a bit of stain on it.
A
Might
lot of
want to
your
get it."
friends do have stained shirts though, because they're dishevelled comedians that
Yeah,
don't have homes.
but then I find they're nicer to me after. They're like, "Oh man, do you want I'll get you the noodles at the
Mm.
Noodle Palace. They're on me."
It's
Because
it's
like
a
I said their shirt sucked, and now subconsciously they're like, oh, now they're feel like they're trying to impress me and stuff.
yeah. I feel like this bit is a real insight into your everyday life. Who are these people that you're bullying into getting your noodles? Like, what reality is this? This is the most like haphazard, fragmented fucking story. Like, yeah, oh, I'm negging these guys and they're buying me noodles. It's like, I know
I'm
you.
thinking,
Who are you talking? I know you. You're not doing that. That's not happening. You're buying the noodles because you feel like
I'm
you
getting there.
you're getting negged, and then you're buying the noodles and you're wishing you were them. That's what I suspect this story is.
The Joker was loosely based on my life, is all I'll say. But
Which parts of the Joker do you think? The mental illness bit, or the bit where he has raging revenge fantasies?
I think the raging revenge fantasies. Also, with the coronavirus thing, you got to sign in.
Yeah.
I've been signing in as Arthur Fleck
Right.
because I just really want to get that phone call where they're like, "Arthur, is this Arthur Fleck? You have COVID."
That would be a funny joke for you.
I'll just be
little in joke for yourself.
I just want to find out in a fun way, is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
right. Yeah. You want a gimmick with it. Like, you might die. You could have given it to people close to you that might die. Yeah. Did you say Arthur Fleck? Nice. It was worth it. It was worth it.
It was worth not using the hand
Arthur
sanitizer.
Fleck, were you the one spitting in the salad bar we have here on CCTV?
Yes, we really should have closed the salad bar, but we kept it open.
It's the weirdest conversation ever.
Where they're like, "We trusted you, so we kept the buffet open, but now you bring
Yeah.
shame. You bring shame.
You bring a shame.
You come in from Victoria bringing this plague with you to the buffet. We left it open for you to have a good time, and now I feel sick because of you."
I feel like the ambiguity of that accent makes it not racist.
Yeah, you should
It's
always
too ambiguous.
You do an ambiguous accent. That's the key.
Yeah. They can't get you. Hey, you know what? It's difficult time sometimes to be this way, okay?
You can change it halfway through. You're like, "I like to go to the movie and make it really, really good. Really, really, really." Like You change it halfway so they don't know
As
what you're
long
doing.
as it's not an Asian accent, that's the key. Because you can go, oh, me, very nice. There's
Yeah,
enough shift in that to know and go, wait, what percentage of that was Asian?
yeah. Now they have to do pie chart graphs, and now they're
If
doing all
Noam
that.
Chomsky really wants to fight back against cancel culture, in his next lecture, he needs to pull his eyes back and be like, the American imperial mission in Middle East
It's
was
well
a
documented.
wrong.
Well documented.
And then, yeah, it's a well documented. If he does that, then he will have actually been a true hero and crusader of the cause. Because
Yeah,
then he'll go, no, this isn't important. The fact
he's
I
got
did
to.
an Asian accent isn't important. What I'm
He's got
saying
to.
is,
He should have skin in the game.
you should have skin in the game. Exactly. There's a lot of talk of Chinese invasion. Now, if China invaded, this is my sort of take on it, that there isn't enough national pride, patriotism to I just wonder how our generation would, as such an fragmented and sort of narcissistic and self-absorbed generation, would we live and die for our country with nationalism and faith in the country at its lowest. I kind of feel like if they were like, grab a gun and fight the Chinese, I'd be like, yeah, but I've got Zumba on Wednesdays. Is it going to clash with, you know?
Oh yeah, there's no way that like you'd want to go and like just even going to one of those boot camps and stuff that they do.
No one's going to want to do that.
Well, like the boot camps that the army do, they'll pay you to do them, but we would prefer to just pay to do our own boot camps.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean? Even though it would be the same level of fitness, you just don't want to do it like when they pay for it, kind of thing. You know, when they
yeah,
like drop you into the
because,
woods and
well, there's a chance that the result of your boot camp in the army may result in you being on the front line of a war. So there's a bit more of a risk than when you do it with your mates at Tough Mudder. But it just points to how much. Think about what I'm saying about nationalism, and then think about the difference in ads for the army. So in World War One, it was literally, "We need you, our country, for king and country. You adventure, come fight. We'll give you Vegemite rations. Yes, adventure. Over
sacrifice.
sacrifice. Fight for your country. Your country needs you." And people would just sign up based on that. There's
And it
no
literally would be like,
fucking. Have you seen
yeah.
defense ads now? They're not like, your country needs you. Fight for your country, because that doesn't work to our
No,
generation. What are they? The defense ads are like, get
the guy
paid
eating
lots of
ramen.
money. Get paid lots of money. Get fit. Go see the world. We'll pay you lots of money. We'll pay you uni debt. Please, we're begging you. Join. It's not violent
Please
and
join me.
dangerous.
It's actually pretty good now. And like there'll be a guy like walking through, like they often have a shot of a guy walking through like sort of a Hong Kong market or something,
Yeah.
trying like a curry or something like that's exotic. Because that's got to be in there too. Like you can travel, you can scuba dive. You know the scuba diving one?
Yeah, they show
Where,
people diving, they show people eating in Hong Kong, they show people being friends, buddies, somebody's like learning something on a map. It's not like, you know, like what it really is. It isn't when you're in imperialist sort of force that's, reshaping the Middle East to Western interests, and you're gunning down innocent civilians in a Middle Eastern country. Though they're not going to put that in the ad, are they?
no, the ads are very wholesome now. You
Yeah,
know, it's like they almost like they're almost the same as ads for universities. Like you know, like an ad for like the University of Melbourne or something. It'll be like just like them just looking like they're like whoa, like exploring. It's more like you will explore the world and learn and broaden your horizons and become like optimized. it's very like individualistic almost. Whereas the old
Yeah.
ads is like you're doing it for the community and everything.
Yeah, you're doing it for your country, and that's exactly my point. Is that the idea of fighting for your country is over because we're so individualistic these days. The sense of a national community is dead, and it's kind of terrifying. Because culturally, the progressive movement, rightly so to a degree, but that's a whole nother discussion. But have put to the forefront have come the history of our country, the horrible history of our country, colonialism, slavery, and racism and all the things that have come to the forefront culturally. And that makes us hate our country. But, I'm also not going to leave my country either. I need it. It's sort of like when you live at home with your mum, with your parents, but you can't move out. So you're like, oh, I just found out dad was involved in a genocide, but I'm not going to move out because I need to be on his Medibank private card. So, but it's fucking bullshit, you know?
Yeah, if you're getting subsidized Pilates, you don't want to leave the house.
That's right. You hate your
You
parents,
don't
but you can't afford to leave.
you don't want to be complete. Yeah, it's like left wingers that hate Australia. They don't want to go to like America or something. Like where do you go like as well?
These days, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
hard to go. It's hard to
yeah,
go anywhere too.
yeah, totally. It's pretty
It's
pretty
like being
depressing
in Fritzl's
times.
basement.
It's what?
It's like being in Fritzl's basement in your analogy because you can't leave the house. Be like, Dad's a fuckhead, and like we're locked in a basement and shit. But yeah, I guess we get dinner sometimes, so yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, dad's a mass murdering fucking lunatic psycho, but food's pretty good when he brings it down. People
When he
don't
decides to
think
bring it down,
people don't think of this conflict or Cold War, say, between China and the West as the old one, which was communism, capitalism. What it is liberal democracy on the West, so our country, America, and China's system of authoritarian capitalism. So that is a system that Russia, Turkey, China, Singapore, they're authoritarian dictatorships of a capitalist system. It's a new thing,
yeah,
a terrifying thing, I think.
yeah. The what do they call it? Capitalism with Asian values.
Right, that's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, it's capitalism
But
with a dictatorship. It's the worst of both systems. It's the worst system ever because under fascism and communism, there was the understanding you were in that system and that you were sacrificing yourself for the nation in that system. Whereas this when you add capitalism and consumerism into the mix, you get your Netflix, you get your car, you get your iPhone, you get your shows that the government will permit you to have, and you have your social media and all that. But so you're placid, like apathetic, like we are in the West through consumerism and individualism and fucking taking selfies and all that bullshit. And you've got a totalitarian government that isn't held to account
yeah,
at
you get the
all. There's
worst.
no checks and balances. Like Trump can get voted out.
Yeah, like it's you're getting the worst of both because their capitalism is even more like ironically more capitalistic now, even though it's under a communist label. Because like when you make your like everyone is an Uber driver in China. You know what I mean? Like if you don't take out your garbage, you can get like a bad rating, and then you'll be denied like a home loan or whatever
I know
in
what you're
another
talking
area.
about. You're talking about the
Yeah,
social credit system where they've combined social media and your posts and your spending and all your electronic data about you, and they rate you as a citizen. So if you rate
totally.
poorly as a citizen, you can't get a bank loan and stuff like that. It's
So if you're a hoarder, if you're hoarding, it means you might not get a seat at a restaurant because they'll find out, and you know what I mean. It affects everything like a network effect.
right. It's the
Where
worst possible system and should be fought at all costs as far as it's spreading to. We should be, like if they're going to try and install something like that over here,
Well,
through
I hope not, because
political.
it's kind of good you're able to rip off someone here, like rip off someone on a car deal here, and then go to Hungry Jack's and they don't know about it.
Well, you'd be poorly. You would definitely not be able to do anything because, yeah, you would
No,
be. Your
I
behavior
rely on.
would be. You'd be citizen rating 0.1.
I'd be patient zero and citizen zero. But yeah, I think that I would be. I'd be a super spreader. But yeah, no, I think the thing with it's like that's the freedom. Like like it's sort of like you want to rely on like bureaucratic inefficiencies to be a worm. Do you know what I mean? Like
There's freedom in that. Yeah.
there's freedom in the fact that Australia has not consolidated all the data on people. So they're like, fuck, you've got like thousands of dollars in debt. Like you shouldn't be able to live in a home.
You should be in jail. There's
Yeah,
no
like
ethic.
there's no,
There's no checks and balances in the Chinese system, right? With the ethics and stuff.
no, you, like with how they're progressing and everything.
Right. There's no checks and balances like in America, like they go, should we do stem cell research? We don't know. Is that ethical? Is that not ethical? Big discussion, democratic committees intrude and it never gets done. But in China, it's just like, there's just a totalitarian government, totality. So there is no checks and balances. No one holds it at
Well,
account. So if they're like, oh, should we inject this dangerous virus into a monkey? Oh yeah, go for it.
yeah, that's the thing. Ethics is a speed bump for science. Like it's like science is just trying to go along, and then there's ethics just going wait up, and then there's science. You know what I mean? It's like you got to get
Yep.
rid of that, and then just like that's why they're growing like ears on mice and stuff, and they're just going, look at this. We put an ear on a mouse. It's pretty cool. Do you know what I mean? And then the West is like, oh fuck, that's problematic. Like you shouldn't do that. Maybe they're like, oh no, we just did it. You know, we just got some babies here. We've got their CRISPR and taken away the gene that makes you get AIDS. You know that one?
Yeah. Because
Like,
scientists in the West were like, we shouldn't alter the gene pool because once you alter it, it exists forever in genetics. So if that kid reproduces and passes on this gene where you can't get AIDS, what effect will that have on the genome? China's like, well, we just did it anyway because we can and no one can stop us.
we just got rid of the ethics committee because it was just sort of a waste of money.
That's
Like,
terrifying.
but I think it means that your science goes way faster. Like, because like ethics is just at every corner just going, excuse me, do you have a license for that? Like,
Is
are
that
you sure you?
inhumane?
Yeah, like every step of the research, they've got to go, can we do this to a monkey? And they're like, we're going to like send it off to 12 academics for 10 years. They're going to write books about whether you can do it.
Mm.
But we've still got this, we've got the science to do it. You know what I mean? So we'll just be way far behind. Like,
Well, China's now going to have the world's largest Large Hadron Collider, which is a particle accelerator that smashes particles together to discover the nature of reality itself. So imagine that thing in use in a country where there's nothing but the government's will for it to, go as fast as possible. They're probably going to be the first people to open a dimension to another planet, go in there and fucking, find some weird alien jellyfish and then bring it back and cook it.
yeah. And then it'll be tasty. Like, cause it'll have like all the stuff that you make, MSG and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it'll be,
They'll
it
do
tastes
it
good.
good. I'm not saying they won't do it good. I'm just saying they'll be the first ones to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. That, and then we'll be like from a culinary perspective, just laggards, just way behind, just going
Mm.
fuck. Like we're still dealing with Heston Blumenthal and the liquid nitrogen shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That shit. There's nothing ahead of the Large Hadron Collider going into another dimension.
To eat there, eat
Pork
over
fried
there.
rice and pussy. You can't do an Asian accent. But earlier in this podcast, we did an Italian one. Isn't that interesting?
Well, you can do like a rap thing where you're like, I went there, man. We gonna get the champagne out. Like we have to do stuff. yeah, girl, you got the rooftop, we at the club. Like you can do that because it's like so in the zeitgeist, I think.
Right.
But chances are that guy's not like Swedish or whatever. The guy
No,
singing
he's
that.
probably African American
Yeah,
at a hunch.
chances.
But because the
chances.
Asian, there's no, there's nothing in the zeitgeist that's the Asian accent. So if I do it, it's really offensive. Isn't that interesting?
Well, yeah, it's interesting because if um if China wins the world, then you should be able to make fun of it.
Yeah, if China
Like you
continues its
can make fun of
imperial,
the most powerful people.
yeah, if they continue their imperial march to the global superpower above America, then you should be able to go, look at me, I'm Chinese, and
That's the equivalent of Richard Pryor doing white guy voice. You doing that.
exactly, because the
China
white
takes
guys were
over.
on top in the 70s and 80s going, and he's like, excuse me, are you in line here, sir? Because I'm a white guy and I talk like this, and everyone, and nobody can do anything because everyone's like, oh, but when the Chinese people get on top, we'll be like, oh, ta.
Yeah, yeah. I went to get my Uber rating today, and he was like, "Oh, you're in big trouble."
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like you'll be able to because you'll just be so oppressed.
Yeah, because every politician, every leader of government, every all the language, everything will be Chinese.
Mm,
So you'll be making fun of you'll be shooting up. I think, in
punching
fact,
up.
we're
Yeah.
breaking ground on this podcast. I think the trajectory of the Chinese GDP, their imperialist actions in Africa and in Australia with their infiltration of our government, irrefutable, mass buying of private land, and their continual intrusion on our territorial waters with Chinese warships and spy ships, I think we can start doing the Chinese impression now. That's what anyone who calls in about politically incorrect about this podcast, I'm calling it. The tide has turned. I just mean you should be able to shoot the gun up with an impression. That's what I'm trying to say.
I just think doing different voices is very fun, and also I've started talking to myself um, because of coronavirus. I've started talking to myself in the street and stuff.
Yeah.
So like when I'm walking around, I'm like, "That's what I told you not to do that." Like I'll be doing like just like, but I'm doing it out loud now because coronavirus it sort of makes you stranger than you were going in.
It's a terrifying thought with you.
Yeah, because
And me too, because I've actually been talking to myself I talk to myself a lot because I've been even more alone during Corona. So you've got to.
well, that's the funny thing. I after 3 months of isolation or whatever it's been, I said to my housemates, I'm moving out to be alone.
Hmm.
So it's just funny after like 3 months of being isolated to be like, yeah, I need more of this. Like I need to make it even more isolated.
Yeah, you're like, I've gotten a taster of this isolation stuff, and let me tell you, I want to go further. I want more isolation.
Yeah, like this is not enough isolation for me.
When I think of like the direction of the way things are going, I was thinking about this the other day. Technology, cancel culture, political correctness, and government bureaucracy, health and safety, all those things have one goal in common, and that is to create a society without any discomfort. Health and safety regulations are increasingly encroaching, obviously COVID even worse so that there's no way you can get injured or trip over or go somewhere that you might risk possibly getting hurt. And schools, like regulations on football and cricket, is intense now safety wise, so there's no discomfort physically. And then technology means you don't have to go through any discomfort in your life. Everything can be delivered to your room, to your house. You can message without the discomfort of being face to face. You can do anything on your phone that means you are more comfortable without having to deal with anything outside of your own home. And then obviously political correctness and cancel culture is the discomfort of possibly coming up against something that may cause offense or encroach on your personal worldview that may make you feel uncomfortable in any way at all. So it's
Yeah,
all heading towards a society of total comfort.
it's a decaffeinated lifestyle. It's like I'll have a decaf and pay 50 cents extra to not have the trauma of the thing.
Right.
And that also a mixture of that and fully automated luxury communism. You know, it's like I'm at home getting the universal basic income, a drone delivers a pepperoni pizza. I feel no stress at all.
Right.
And in fact,
Total
the
flow.
fact that I feel no stress because there's no friction to my life where I have to come up against an obstacle, that's the thing that makes me stressed, because I think the comfort inevitably leads to discomfort. Like if you spend all day getting drones delivering, ramen and stuff, and then you have like a hot shower and you're just watching Netflix, you inevitably, through like the very comfort of the situation, get thrown into this like this malaise.
It raises the question, I guess, what does society look like in a fully, so I mean, this is not a stretch of the imagination. Your romantic life, your sex life could be automated through robotic, like super hyper realistic, or possibly just dating apps of the future that mean there's no discomfort in dating. You're perfectly genetically, psychologically mapped with someone or whatever you can imagine there. You may not have to work much anymore with an automated infrastructure that has enabled food to be free or near to nothing, and travel will be simply effortless automated cars, and the economy may function, as I was saying, in a way that robots are able to perform any menial tasks and so on. What does that, what happens then? I mean, is that bad or?
Well, I think it's bad because like that's the Brave New World thing where you just don't feel any like friction from your day-to-day activities. But I think that like it's weird, like all the things that make you uncomfortable make you comfortable after.
Right.
Like if you like have like cold showers and fast and sort of like have a day of like obstacles where you're trying to like there's problems and you're trying to overcome them, those days are often the best days. Like
Right.
it's not the day that you're watching Netflix like with like a Coke and stuff.
You're
Like
saying
there's
there's a risk of that Brave New World problem where they manage to craft society using antidepressants as part of it, where you never feel anything of discomfort whatsoever.
yeah, you never feel that fear or whatever that kind of wakes you up, that like that kind of, you don't feel that dynamic like maybe this wouldn't work or like this, like there's no feeling of risk or like having to take a fall for anything.
Well, that means the lows are not as low and the highs aren't as high.
Spiritual lithium
Yeah,
will
like
just get
basically
narrowed.
lithium.
Yeah.